Okay, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen, salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. Okay, left off last night. You can hear? Yes. Okay. Last week, going over some things. We did a lot of reviewing, and for some people, some introductory stuff. We asked a lot of questions. We dealt with a lot of issues. We made some ta'aruf, got to know one another, the people who was present. Today, the first thing that I want to do is like we did last time. We want to start off with Al-Fatiha. Let everybody recite it, and we'll make the necessary corrections, and then we'll move forward. So, you want to go first?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta 'alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin.
Ahsant.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina as-siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladhina an'amta 'alayhim. Ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Okay. Before we get into making the corrections, I want to know who remembers some of the stuff we mentioned about Al-Fatiha, about Qira'ah, about the Quran, so on and so forth. Who can mention something that we mentioned last week?
So we did mention that before reciting Quran that we should seek refuge with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That it is instructed by Allah in the Quran to do so.
Beautiful.
That it's not a hadith, that is actually in an instruction from Allah.
Absolutely. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says what means when you want to recite the Quran, فَاسْتَعِذْ بِاللَّهِ مِنَ الشَّيْطَانِ الرَّجِيمِ, and seek refuge in Allah from the accursed and wretched shaitan. Now, who remembers the meaning of al-rajim? Shaitan, al-rajim. We talked about this last week.
I think he said the one who has no hope.
Okay.
He said like he's like hopeless.
Basically.
If I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
So along them lines.
Okay.
You remember me?
No, that was close.
I said the one who is ba'idun an rahmatillah. Far away from the mercy of Allah. Far away from the mercy of Allah. The accursed and wretched, the one who's far away from the mercy of Allah. And then we mentioned something concerning what we say after that. What do we say at the beginning of every surah, except for surah at Tawbah? What's another name for surah Tawbah? We mentioned this last week.
Yeah, it isn't time because you said Allah can swear upon what He wants to. That's what we talked about. So it isn't time.
No, that's another surah.
Oh, okay.
Al-Bara'ah, Surah Al-Bara'ah. It's another name for Surah At-Tawbah. Al-Bara'ah, the ninth Surah. Surah Tawbah, another name for it is Surah Al-Bara'ah. Bara'ah. If you want to, you can pull your chair up a little bit closer. Bara'ah. Bara'ah means to disavow, to disalign yourself, to have disavowment, disallegiance, Yeah.
With the Ibn Iblis.
But Tawbah is repentance, and disallegiance, ain't that the opposite of it? Or is they
I think
one and the same?
Yeah, we'll get into that. We'll get into that. Yeah.
Was I mistaken?
What's that?
Well, you were talking about like when you say Udu blame the shaitan regime, like that's what you were talking about, like distancing yourself from Ibn Iblis. that what you mean?
From shaitan, yeah. When we say a'udhu billahi minash shaitan rajim, that's what we meant at that point. But we said something before that. We said every surah begins with what?
Bismillah.
What is that called? What did we say the name of that
Basima?
was? Huh?
The basima.
No. Al-Basmala.
Yeah, Bismillah.
Al-Basmala.
Not Bismillah. I think that's
Al-Basmala.
Bismillah.
Yeah. The Al-Basmala is what? To say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So the Basmala is the same Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. And we said that it was different from the what?
Bismillah.
From the Tasmiyah. We have the Basmala and the Tasmiyah. And the difference is the Tasmiyah is simply to say Bismillah. So Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, this is the Basmala. The Tasmiyah is to simply say Bismillah. And this is why I said bring notebooks. And you bring them last week. You gotta bring
And this is the shameful thing is, I got 2 notebooks.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
At my other house.
Someone just
The
asked
other name for Tauba is
Al-Bara'a.
Ambara'a.
Al-A-L hyphen B-A-R A apostrophe A. Bara'a. Not hyphen, apostrophe, yeah. Apostrophe, Al-Bara'a. And
And the definition?
we'll get into that. I
Oh,
wanna
yeah,
to
that's-
save that for another time.
And the basima. And the
Basmala.
basima.
Basmala. Al hyphen B-A-S-M-A-L-A-H. Basmala. B-A-S-M-A-N. Basmala. Now. And I said that we was gonna use the board too, but no one has notebooks, so it's really, but someone just actually asked me to record it, so inshallah, maybe you can go over the recording, inshallah.
Because then I can send it off and listen to it again.
Okay.
That does better for me than writing down.
Inshallah.
Because every time I write down, I can't spell it.
No, that's no problem. But you don't worry about it because these are not English words anyway, Arabic words. So you try to write them like they sound because you got to learn how to take notes anyway. Quick. You can't really stop and help everybody and correct everybody because we all be like, what you say? How you spell it? You know what I mean? So we got to just try to write quick and write what we think it sounds like and then save it for the questions and answer portion. Okay, so we have the Basmala and the Tasmiyah. The Basmala is to say Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim, and the Tasmiyah is to say Bismillah. Okay. And we mentioned some times when that's done specifically, where you don't use the Basmala and you just use the Tasmiyah. And what did we mention?
Before eating.
Good. I mentioned that hadith. What's the
before
hadith?
wudu.
Remember the hadith that I mentioned?
Go in the bathroom.
No, I don't remember.
You said the Prophet ﷺ was eating.
And he ate from his side and from the...
Yeah, and he said to the young boy who was eating all over the plate, he said, Ya ghulam, samillah, wa kul bi yaminik, wa kul mimma yalik. Oh young boy, mention Allah's name. Say Allah, say Bismillah. Eat with your right hand and eat from what's in front of you. Right? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, the Basmala. Now, let's explain the Basmala. We mentioned that. The first thing that comes is the what? The ba. The ba at the end, at the beginning. It's ba, bi, ismillah. Bi ismillah. With the name of Allah. So what does that ba mean? We explain what that ba means. Oh man, y'all
In,
gonna get some
the word
detentions
in.
or something, man. I gotta
In.
start giving out detentions. We said with. It's better to say with the name of Allah.
Okay, then in the name.
But what was that? What was that ba? What was that ba that comes at the beginning? Bismillah. Bi-ismillah. Ism is name. Ismun, name. Bi-ismillah. What did we say that ba was for? We said that ba was for al-isti'ana. Right? seeking assistance from Allah, seeking aid from
like
Allah.
Did you go over that?
Yes, we did.
I do not recall
No,
that.
I remember what he said, coming as a newborn, coming like you or helpless as a newborn child.
Right,
I
and that's
remember
when we
that.
mentioned the a'udhu, the ta'awud, that you turn to Allah in the way that you can turn to no other one except Allah. Like a child would turn towards one of his parents, his mother in particular. If he was lost or afraid, he wouldn't be looking for anyone but his mother. This is the way we turn to Allah, seeking refuge from Allah, from the accursed and wretched shaitan. And the ba is for isti'ana. Okay, we get into that a little later. Okay, so, all right, repeat after me. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Good. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim.
Ar-Rahmanirrahim.
Maliki Yawmiddin.
Maliki Yawmiddin.
Okay, Maliki
Maliki
Yawmiddin.
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 Middin.
Middin.
On this dal, there's what's known as a shadda. The shadda, it brings emphasis. Whenever you see a shadda on a letter, it means emphasis, to emphasize and put strength on that letter. Yeah, but we need notebooks. You know what I mean? Because it's important.
But looking at it, you can see it's.
Yeah, but the best way to memorize, one of the best ways, is by writing. The people in the past, they used to write. You go to some of these countries in Africa and other places, they got, even if they don't have material, they get stones and animal hide, and they write. They write the whole Quran. This is how they learn, by writing it and repeating it, over and over again. Over and over and over again, constantly karara, repeating over and over again. So, plus once you start learning the huruf, the letters, and you'll be able to distinguish the dal from the dad and stuff like that. And then you'll know what the shadda is. You'll know what the shadda is. You know what the sun letters and the moon letters are. Which word or which name takes the alif lam, and which one. For example, if we say al-masjid, right? Al-masjid. The masjid. But if we was talking about the sun, for example, which is shams, we won't say al-shams. We will say ash-shams. 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 If we say about the prayer, we're not going to make al-salah, we're going to make as-salah. Like we say in the Iqam in there, as-salah, as-salah, as-salah. Right? As-salah. Right? If we say one of Allah's names, Ar-Rahman, we don't say Al-Rahman, we say Ar-Rahman. And we learn that once we start learning the letters and learning.
So it's A-L, A-S, or A-R?
No, we got the sun letters and the moon letters.
Okay.
You know what I mean? The huruf shamsiyya and the huruf al-qamariyya. The letters that, when you put the alif lam, beginning of a word, this is the definite article. So it changes something from being general to specific. We have it in English, but we have it in Arabic, and we do it with the alif lam. But if I say, for example, where's Abdul Aziz? In a house. What you mean he in a house? But if I said, where's Abdul Aziz? Oh, he in the house. He's in the house. Now automatically you're going to assume he's either in this house right here or in his house. You specify. You made this definite. So in the Arabic language, we use the alif lam for to make something definitive. You know what I mean? So if we say huwa fi masjidin, he's in a masjid. Okay, what masjid is he in? Huwa fil masjid, he's in the masjid. Especially if we're in the parking lot. You know what I mean? It's more grammatically correct to say it that way. So, like some people's name. My name is Abdul Salam. Abdul Salam. No, it's not Abdul Salam. It's Abdul Salam. Abdul Salam. Abdul Shaheed. Abdul Rauf. Abdul Rahim. Abdul Rahman. You know what I mean? But then you have Abdul Malik. Abdul Qahar. Abdul, like our brother Mutakabbir. Abdul Hakim, Al Hakim, right? The difference between the sun letters and the moon letters. Now, so when we talk about shadda, we're talking about tashdid, to make something strong and firm. Like if a person is rough all the time, he's real rigid, we say he's shadid, he's mutashaddid. You know, that's where that word comes from, shadda, to put emphasis on. When we read those transliterations and we see double letters, when we see the double consonants, we know it's shidda, strength. We make it double. We put emphasis on it. See a double vowel, we usually elongate. So when we say Allah, when we see it written phonetically, we say A-L-L, Al. We don't say Allah, we say Allah, and then we put two A's because we elongate that. Allah, Allah, Allah. So we put an emphasis on the lam or the L, and then we elongating the A, right? So getting back to Al-Fatiha.
No, I'm saying Allah.
Yeah, Allah. Yeah.
So you stretch it out a little bit.
Yeah, you're going to stretch it out a little. Yep. Allah. Yep. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. If it wasn't for the fact that we could do that, then it wouldn't be permissible to say Allahu Akbar, because you'll be changing the meaning. Like when some people call the adhan or the iqamah, they're actually changing the meaning. So we have to work on that too. There's certain things that you can't say for the purpose of beautification, right? You can beautify your voice with qira'ah, make tilawa, make your voice beautiful. You know, tartil, tilawa, when you're reciting in a beautiful, melodious way. But you have to know the rulings connected to the words, because you can actually say something and change the whole meaning, right?
I heard that before. I heard that, like falah is farm, or what is it? What is it? Yeah, it means farm, right? If you just say falah.
Yeah, if you say, for example, fallah, that means a farmer.
Yeah,
But if you say falah,
yeah.
that means success. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah,
That's what you're supposed to be saying.
So similar to me.
of course.
Yeah,
But
that's
once
what it used to throw me off.
But once you start learning, then you start to understand and see the distinction. And then you'll see why some people who do learn, why they're a little more meticulous in advising and correcting. Because we don't know. We need that.
So,
We need
like,
it.
just let's use that word as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Break down the break. You know, shake it down for us real quick. So I just give me a thing. Because the dude told me that, like, man, you said something about a farm. When I was in the Virgin Islands, calling it done. You know, they mosque is basically, their woo station is all the way outside. The mosque is like basically like a hut, like, because it ain't, you know, it ain't never cold out there. And so you could get on the mic, and then you could call it, and so they hear it everywhere. They hear it like blocks away. And I went on to call it because there wasn't nobody there. And then the one dude, he owned a pharmacy down there. He came in and was like, because there's pharmacy right around the corner. He was like, yeah, you said farm, right? Yeah, and I was like, what you talking about? He said falah. He was trying to, but he never explained it to me.
Yeah, it's basically like, for example, when a person, I don't want to get hung up on this, but when a person says, for example, while calling the adhan, Allahu, I'm going to stop here because I don't want him to say this because I know what it means. So I don't want to be, disrespect the name of Allah or attribute something to Allah that shouldn't be attributed to Allah. But if he turns around and says, Akbar, he elongated that aleph right there. He put a mad right there after the ba. So he actually said that Allah is a set of drums. So you can't elongate it right there. You can say Allahu Akbar, not bar.
Oh, wrap it up, yeah.
Change the meaning. You alter the meaning. Even in Al-Fatiha, if, for example, you're saying,
So when calling it Yan, isn't Allah's the only thing you're supposed to elongate? Like everything else, you can't elongate.
no, you can elongate other things.
You can okay.
If
I was
it's
thinking
able to be
Allah was
elongated.
like the only thing to elongate to protect yourself from changing the meaning.
No, you learn you learn to protect
Where you're supposed
yourself.
to put it in
Right.
and out.
Yeah, that's what you do. You can't restrict it because you hear people call the other in different ways.
Right.
You know what I mean? But to say that you can't, someone has to have something for that. You know what I mean? Some type of evidence or something like that.
Yeah.
To say that you can't. You can, but you have to do it in the right place. So that's why people put more emphasis on beautifying their voice and beautifying their speech, that they actually end up messing up the meanings, changing or altering the meaning. Assalamu alaikum. Love you, man. Yeah.
Walaikum assalam. Brother Jay, really?
Okay.
How you doing? Rockhead boy? Oh, that's great.
Hey, we recording now. We recording now. I don't want to do all that. No, it's okay. Now, so let's move forward again. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim.
Everyone. Alhamdulillahi
Alhamdulillahi
Rabbil Alameen.
Rabbil Alameen.
Okay, it's an ayn right there. Rabbil Alameen. Not Alameen. Alameen. No. Rabbil Alameen. Good. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Not Rah, like we hear people say. It's Rah. Rah. Ar-Rah. Ar-Rah.
Ar-Rah.
Ar-Rah.
Ar-Rah.
Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim.
Maliki
Maliki
Yawmiddin.
Yawmiddin. Middin.
Iyaka
Iyaka
na'budu
na'budu
wa iyaka
wa iyaka
nasta'in.
nasta'in.
Good. Now, this right here. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم. Now, when you say it's a different ha. It's not the ha that we say when we say Ar-Rahman. It's the ha that we say at the end of Allah's name. Allah. There's a ha on the end. As-salah. There's a ha being pronounced, but it's a ta marbuta.
So it's no breath, but the
Not strong. You're really just filling up the mouth. You know what I mean? You're just really just filling the mouth with air for the most part. No, air. Yeah. This is when, excuse me, when we start getting off into the makharij al-huruf, the place in which the letters exit from in the mouth. The part of the mouth that the letters exit from. You know what I mean? You'll be able to make that distinction. And we'll do that once we start going over the letters and stuff like that. But trying our best to learn how to say the Fatiha correctly, because the Fatiha is a what?
It's far.
the oft-repeating verse.
It's a pillar from the pillars of the Salah. So if the Fatiha is missing, you don't have no Salah. Prophet says, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, there's no Salah for the one who doesn't recite Al-Fatiha in. So if a person doesn't recite Al-Fatiha, he has no Salah. And if he doesn't know it, he has to make some effort to know how to say it and know how to say it correctly. Okay, اهدنا الصراط المستقيم.
اهدنا الصراط المستقيم.
صراط الذين
صراط الذين
أنعمت عليهم.
أنعمت عليهم.
Right.
أنعمت. I hear you say
أنعمت
أنعمت
عليهم
عليهم
غير المغضوب. مغضوب is a ضاد. The letter is it's a difficult letter. So much so is that they often refer to the Arabic language as al-lughat al-ضاد, the language of that particular letter, because no other language has that sound in it. غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. You have a shadda on the line. ولا الضالين. So you have some tajdeed there. ولا الضالين.
ولا الضالين.
نعم. Nah. Alhamdulillah. Okay. Now, any questions as it relates to that?